Some places just feel heavy. Like the stories are soaked into the walls, whispering down the empty halls. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most chilling legends I've ever come across, a story that was born from a place of just unimaginable suffering, the legend of the Screaming Woman of Central State.
See, the thing that makes this legend so unbelievably creepy isn't just that people hear a scream. It's the kind of scream everyone reports hearing. For years, the stories have been the same. This isn't just a shout or a cry for help. No, they describe something primal, a sound that has had every single drop of hope just torn right out of it. And this whole story is tied to a very specific, very real place, the old powerhouse on the grounds of the former hospital. Picture this, workers, deep in the night, shoveling ashes in the basement, when suddenly this sound just rips through the darkness and freezes them in their tracks. That's the legend.
Okay, and this is where the story takes a turn from a simple ghost story into something way, way more disturbing. It makes you stop and ask, are we listening to a spirit that's trapped here, right now? Or are we hearing an echo of a real horror, something trapped in the past?
To even start to wrap our heads around that scream, you have to understand the place it comes from. Central State Hospital wasn't just a bunch of buildings. For almost 150 years, it was its own little world, and it was a world that held an unbelievable amount of suffering inside. I mean, the sheer scale of time here is just staggering. This place was open for 146 years. Think about that. It was running from the time of horse and buggy all the way to the dawn of the internet. That is a huge amount of time for history and for tragedy to build up before those doors finally closed for good. And here it is, our first really chilling connection. The official records confirm it. For decades, patients who were considered disruptive weren't really treated. They were just confined. And where were they put? In the basements. The exact same kind of dark, underground spaces where this legend was born.
Now listen, this is not folklore. This is the hospital's own superintendent, a guy named Dr. Everett, writing an official report to the governor back in 1870. And look at the words he uses. This isn't a detached medical report. This is pure horror. Raved and howled like tortured beasts. He was putting on record that this was a place of real, audible agony.
But believe it or not, the suffering didn't just come from being locked away in the dark. No, in the name of science and medicine, this hospital gave out cures that were, well, a whole other kind of nightmare.
Just look at this list. I mean, it reads like something out of a medieval torture manual, doesn't it? But these were all documented medical procedures and methods they used at Central State. They were actually considered treatments. But as you're about to see, the line between healing and horror was basically non-existent.
Let's just focus on that first one for a second. The records show that when they first started doing electroshock therapy, it was often with little to no anesthesia. Can you even imagine? The result was exactly what you'd think it'd be: horrific. Patients screamed. They screamed through the whole thing in documented, unimaginable agony. And this is where it all clicks. The map of the ghost story and the map of the hospital's real-life horror, they line up perfectly. The reports of these paranormal screams are thickest in the exact same areas where these brutal procedures like electroshock and lobotomies happened. This isn't random. The legend is anchored to places of incredible trauma.
So this brings us to the really terrifying question at the center of all this. This is the point where supernatural horror and historical fact get so tangled up, you can't tell them apart. It really forces you to wonder, what is it that truly haunts a place like Central State?
I mean, when you just put it all out there, side by side, you can't ignore it. On one side, you've got the legend, a ghost screaming in a basement. And on the other, you have the history. Real people screaming in agony in those very same basements. The legend doesn't feel like a separate story. It feels more like a distorted memory of the truth.
And that's the question we're left with, isn't it? What if the scariest kind of ghost isn't a person's spirit at all, but a memory? A memory of pain so intense that it literally gets absorbed by the building, by the stone and steel, and just echoes through time. Maybe the Screaming Woman of Central State isn't the ghost of a person, but the ghost of the place itself.